Hi everyone, Chelsea Tucker here from juniorchelsea.com. I'm glad that you're here today. Today I want to talk about something pretty personal, and that is sex within a marriage. Okay, what are the boundaries? Why not? How and how so? And how can it do good things for your marriage? So let's get into it. The idea of having sex with your spouse is really good, right? You didn't get married just to have kids or just to be with somebody, right? You had also another desire, being sexual with somebody. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. Do not let anybody tell you that having sex is bad, because it's not, okay? Especially when it's in the boundaries of marriage, okay? Now, when you're married, the idea is that you have a less likelihood of getting an STD, right? Because the goal is that it's just you and your spouse, okay? And then also it is the fact that an unwanted child would be less likely, right? So if you're outside of marriage having sex, you go to have sex and a baby is conceived. Oops, we didn't really want that baby, but then we have that baby and now we have to hurry up and grow up, right? Versus if you have a child within a marriage, right? And oops, right? You weren't planning it, but it happened. That child is wanted, right? That child is still wanted within the family. It may have not been the greatest financial time to have another child. It may have not been the greatest time for your career to have another child, whatever it is, right? So whatever category that falls under, that child is probably more likely wanted than somebody who's out of wedlock, okay? Now, when you're in marriage, do you get angry? Yeah, it happens. Oh, wait, how about when you have a new baby? Oh, yeah. So those things can hinder your time in the bedroom with your spouse. Should it? Should it not? Why? Why not? I'm going to give you some real life experience examples as to why you should not allow it to hinder the time that you spend in the bedroom with your spouse. Okay? When you have a new child, you are filled with love and joy and whatever, right? Let's talk first baby. You are over the moon. This is great, whatever, but you're tired. Do you allow the tiredness to stop you from being with your spouse? Sometimes, yes, it has happened. The goal is to not let it happen, right? If he wants it all of the time, that's maybe a little bit much, but you should be giving yourself to your husband and your husband should be giving himself to you. That's the goal. Why? Because you are a human and you have sexual desires. If your spouse is not meeting those needs, you will probably go somewhere else in your mind at minimum to satisfy those needs, okay? Now, if your spouse is meeting those needs within, a reasonable boundary, they're less likely to go other places in their mind or on the internet for porn or whatever they're looking for, okay? Now, you have a responsibility for this area of life. You do. It's simple because you signed on the dotted line, okay? Sometimes it's okay to think about things within your marriage as simply a responsibility. Now, should you think about sex all the time as, another chore? No, you shouldn't, because it should be bringing you and your spouse together. That time is meant for you and for him. Do I recommend scheduling it all out all the time? No, I don't, because that should be something more spontaneous. But what I do recommend is that you figure out how to handle your laundry, your dishes, your other chores a little bit more efficiently so you're not so tired. You're not so worn out by life, and you're more available for things like having sex with your spouse, okay? Because that's important for you and for him. Whether you or him have more of a sex drive, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Somebody needs to be pleased. How that will happen, when that will happen, who that will happen with, right? The goal is that it's you and him. That's the goal. That's the premise. That's what we want it to be. So I strongly encourage you that if you can't always make love to your spouse, because newsflash right here, it's not always that. Why? Because life is stressful. You get worn out. You're not always going to want to do certain things in life, even the good stuff. So make sure that you're making time for your spouse. in that category particularly. It will help strengthen your marriage simply by being with your spouse. The goal is to not only be with your spouse, but show the love and affection that both of you need. So I encourage you to make sure that you're laying down other responsibilities in life so that you can increase your time being in the bedroom with your spouse. How do I do that? How have I done that having 4 kids in 4 years? Well, technically 3 years and 8 months, but still within 4 years. Okay, I made time. I sat down and figured out my schedule that I needed to handle my things as a stay-at-home mom, as a wife, to make sure that my brain wasn't so fogged up all the time so that I could be there for my husband. So I suggest this, and not only do I suggest this, but I also give you the resource on how to do this. Achieve personal goals while raising your family is how I do what I do. Step by step, lay it all out for you. A to Z, okay? It's not complicated. Go read the course, go apply it to your life, and get in the bedroom with your spouse. All right, and if you're liking the stuff, make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting, all of the things, okay? Because YouTube says, hey, we like her, and then that information can get to more people. So if you're liking it, do those things to not only help the channel grow, but help your neighbor grow, okay? All right, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.